How does the driver remove an auto rickshaw from his body? This is something that has puzzled many people over the years. Is it possible to detach your vehicle from your body when you in an accident and then run away from the scene of the crime? In today's video, we will find out how this is even possible. This question was asked by a user who saw a video of an auto rickshaw driver removing himself from his vehicle, which was stuck under a truck. The first thing that goes through most people's minds when they see this is, how can someone be so calm when their life is in danger? And the second thought is, how is it even possible for a person to remove an entire auto rickshaw from their body? It seems almost impossible, but these people have been doing it for years, so there must be some trick or secret behind it. There are a few tricks and techniques that the auto rickshaw driver uses to detach himself from the vehicle in such a dangerous situation. These techniques are not for everyone, though, because they require a lot of practice and skill. If you're just an average person with no training in martial arts or self-defense, then chances are you won't be able to do what these auto rickshaw drivers do when they trapped under a heavy vehicle like a truck. But don't worry, we've got you covered. At the end of this video, we'll show you some tips on how to free yourself from a vehicle if you ever find yourself in a similar situation. So make sure to watch till the end. The first step is to take a deep breath and remain calm. It's important to stay level-headed in this situation because panicking will only make things worse. Once you've taken a deep breath, try to assess the situation and figure out what's going on. What exactly happened? Are you trapped under a car or a truck? Is anyone else in danger? Once you've assessed the situation, you need to come up with a plan to free yourself from the vehicle. If you're trapped under a car, the best thing to do is to try to get underneath the vehicle. This will allow you to create some space between you and the car and make it easier to free yourself. To do this, you need to first move your legs apart and then slowly try to inch forward. It's important to go slowly here because you don't want to cause any sudden movements that could make the car shift and crush you. Once you've created some space between you and the car, you can start to work on freeing your arms. To do this, you need to first bend your elbows and then try to inch forward. Again, it's important to go slowly here because you don't want to cause any sudden movements that could make the car shift and crush you. Once you've freed your arms, you can then use them to help you push yourself away from the car. Now, you may not be able to do this right away, so don't get discouraged if you can't push yourself away from the car at first. Just keep trying and eventually you'll be able to free yourself. But what about if you're trapped under a truck? Well, the same basic principles apply. You need to try to get underneath the truck to create some space between you and the vehicle. And then you can start to work on freeing your arms and pushing yourself away from the truck. However, it's much more difficult to do this with a truck because they much heavier than cars and don't give you as much space to work with. Now, let's take a look at the video that started all of this. This video was uploaded to YouTube by a user, John. In the video, you can see a truck that's crashed into an auto rickshaw. The auto rickshaw is stuck under the truck and it looks like the driver of the auto rickshaw is trapped. But amazingly, the driver is able to free himself from the vehicle and run away. The whole thing is caught on camera and it's amazing to watch. Now, before we continue, we'd like to remind you that all of the information provided in this video is for educational purposes only. We are not medical professionals, and the advice given should not be considered a substitute for professional medical treatment. With that said, let us take a closer look at the video and see how the driver managed to free himself from the wreckage. The first thing we notice is that the driver is very calm, despite being trapped under a truck. This is important because if he had panicked, it would have been much more difficult to free himself from the wreckage. The driver takes a deep breath and then starts to move his legs apart. This creates some space between him and the truck, and it also allows him to see what he needs to do to free himself. The driver then bends his elbows and starts to inch forward. This creates even more space between him and the truck, and it also allows him to free his arms. Once his arms are free, the driver pushes himself away from the truck and runs to safety. So how did the driver manage to do this? The answer is simple. He's done it many times before. This is not something that can be done on a whim. It requires a lot of practice and dedication. The driver has been practicing this technique for years, and it's this practice that allowed him to escape from the wreckage. If you're wondering if you could do the same thing, the answer is probably yes. It just takes a lot of practice. If this driver can do it, so can you. All you need is a little bit of practice and dedication. In addition to the driver's skills, there are also some other factors that allowed him to escape the wreckage. For example, the truck wasn't completely blocking the auto rickshaw. There was enough space for the driver to crawl underneath the truck and free himself. If the truck had been completely blocking the auto rickshaw, it would have been much more difficult, if not impossible, for the driver to escape. Another factor that helped the driver escape was the fact that he was wearing a seatbelt. Seatbelt kept him in place and prevented him from being thrown from the auto rickshaw, which could have easily happened in a crash of this magnitude. If he hadn't been wearing a seatbelt, there's a good chance he wouldn't have been able to escape the wreckage. Finally, luck played a role in the driver's survival. If the crash had happened just a few seconds earlier or later, the truck driver may have been able to free himself. But as it happened, everything worked out in the driver's favor, and he was able to escape the wreckage and live to tell the tale. The ability of the auto rickshaw driver to free himself from the wreckage is truly amazing. It's a testament to his skill and preparation that he was able to escape such a dangerous situation. His quick thinking and calm demeanor likely saved his life. As mentioned earlier, this is not something that can be done on a whim. It takes a lot of practice and dedication. But with enough hard work, anyone can learn how to free themselves from a vehicle if they ever find themselves in a similar situation. If you're interested in learning more about this technique, we recommend checking out some resources on self-defense and martial arts. There are many great books, videos, and classes available that can teach you how to free yourself from a vehicle. Now let's take a closer look at the aftermath of the crash. As you can see, the auto rickshaw is completely crushed, which is amazing considering that the driver was able to escape. The truck driver, on the other hand, was not so lucky. He was trapped in the cab of the truck and had to be rescued by emergency workers. Thankfully, he was also able to escape without serious injury. In the end, it was a lucky break for both drivers. They walked away from the crash with their lives, which is more than can be said for many people who are involved in car accidents. In conclusion, the auto rickshaw driver's ability to free himself from the wreckage is truly amazing. It's a testament to his skill and preparation that he was able to escape such a dangerous situation. His quick thinking and calm demeanor likely saved his life. While this is not something that can be done on a whim with enough practice, anyone can learn how to free themselves from a vehicle if they ever find themselves in a similar situation. If you enjoyed this video, please leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. We hope you learned something new. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.